Sairam, dear students, in the previous session, in the previous lesson, you know that we discussed constitution. Before we going to new lesson, I ask one of the easiest question. When did India attain freedom? Say loudly while watching this video, say your answer loudly. Yes, I think your answer is correct. India attained freedom on 15th August 1947. Yes. Soon after our independence, you know that what we did. Soon after our independence, we felt the need of a constitution. A constitution was required because India is a vast country, and soon after independence, you know that there were 562 princely states. Merger process as well as constitution forming or the framing of constitution was necessary. At the same time, we formed a government. We formed a temporary government. A temporary government we formed. But what type of government we have today? You know that France has unitary form of government. England has unitary form of government. And moreover, we discussed it. India is sovereign, secular, democratic, republic country. But what type of government we have? And in that lesson means in the constitution lesson we discussed it. France is having unitary form of government and the England is having unitary form of government. But what type of government United States of America having? What type of government India is having? India is having federal form of government. What type? Federal form of government. Dear students, today we are going to see the union government. The union government. You know that in the previous class only we discussed federal form. What does it mean? That you know that we have learnt in the previous lesson that India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic country. At the same time, England and France have unitary system of government. If you see the government of India, we can categorize it is central and state. Here powers are divided because India is a huge country, vast country, and India is known for its diversity. So, for the better government, for the easier government, we formed this type. Means the powers were allocated between central and state. Central and state. Here, the India, like the United States of America, has federal system of government. This is the very nice example. But when it comes to France, entire country under single rule, that is union government. There is, you know that the absolute power is under union government. Powers were divided like province, district, but absolute power vested in the hands of union government. Here power is clearly allocated. That is clearly mentioned what we call the jurisdiction of the government, of the central government, the jurisdiction of the state government clearly mentioned. There are three lists: central list, state list and concurrent list. The jurisdiction of central list clearly mentioned, and some subjects allocated to central government. At the same time, some subjects were allocated to state government. Concurrent, both have the powers. Here state and the central government both have the powers in framing bills and laws. Okay, India, like the United States of America, has a federal system of government. That means there is a union government at the center and the state government in the states. Very simple. This is federal form of government. However, the central government has been given more power in view of the unity and security of the nation. Even during the emergencies too. Here, the central government has been given the more power in view of unity and the security of the nation during the emergencies. First question for Vidyagama and as well as for notes. Why the central government has been given more powers? Note down the question. Question number 1. Question number 2. Give any 2 examples for unitary form of government. Question number 3. Give any 2 example, any 2 countries for the example of federal government. Third question. Or mention any 2 countries which is having federal form of government. Third question. Here, now we come to know that central government has more power. Central government has been given more power. You know that is clearly mentioned that in the view of unity, in the view of security of the nation. It exercises these powers through legislature, executive, judiciary. See, union government means not only Lok Sabha, not only Rajya Sabha, it is not only Supreme Court, it is not only cabinet. See, when it comes to union government, Supreme Court is there. It is the head of the judiciary. It is the highest apex court of India. You know that is the what? That is judiciary side. Then executive side, there is a cabinet. Then legislature, that members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is there. Okay, now we are going to see the union legislature. My dear students, I think you understood all these topics what we discussed here. Now we are going to see union legislature. Union legislature. Yes. India has adopted parliamentary system of government. The union legislature means India has adopted parliament. When you are going to write parliament, see the spelling. See the spelling. You have to write like parliament, but pronounce like parliament. Most of the students are committing the same mistake. Parliament means they skip A. Yes, parliamentary form of government or parliamentary system of government we have. That is also called Sansad. What? This parliamentary is called Sansad. Samsad. Union legislature is called parliament. Article 79. See, Article 79 says, makes provision for the creation of parliament. Makes provision for the creation of parliament. Now, another question, that is fourth question, note down. Which article provides for the creation of parliament? Which article makes provision for the creation of parliament? Answer is very Simple, very, very simple. Article 79. The parliament consists of two houses. Which are the two houses? Which are the two houses? One is Lok Sabha, that is called lower house. Another one is Rajya Sabha, that is called upper house. Now, the lower house is called Lok Sabha, upper house is called Rajya Sabha. Dear students, now we are going to see Rajya Sabha. Here, the number of the seats in the Rajya Sabha is 250, out of which 238 members are elected by the members of the state legislature. Or state legislature means state assemblies and union territories. How you know how they are elected? How the members of Rajya Sabha are elected? The members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the state assemblies and union territories. You know that union territories are there: Pondicherry, Diu Daman, Delhi, Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep. These are all the union territory. The members from these union territory and the members of the state assembly particularly, they can elect the members of Rajya Sabha. Now another question. Fifth question, note down. Which is the fifth question? See here, how are the members of Rajya Sabha elected? Already mentioned, the members here are 250, of which 238 members are elected like that. But what about these 12 members? Remaining 12 members. Remaining 12 members who are experts in the various fields like literature, art, science and social work are nominated by the president. See, actually they are those who have made a wonderful achievement in literature, art, science and in the social work. They are considered and nominated by the president. President of India. Here the president nominates such stalwarts. Now this house is also known as House of Elders. Why it is called? Because these are mainly meant for stalwarts and senior people and political experts. That is why it is called. This house is also known as the House of Elders. House of Elders. Now let us see the term of office of Rajya Sabha. Term of office of Rajya Sabha. See, here the Rajya Sabha is a parliamentary body and it is not dissolved like Lok Sabha. See, on the advice of Prime Minister, Lok Sabha can be dissolved. But here the term of office is 6 years, but the term of the members is 6 years. 6 years. One third of its member retired on the completion of 6-year term every second year. Every second year. For example, one third of members retire every 2 years, every second year. Here, one third of means, for example, X, a member called X, his complete term is 6 years. For example, 6 years. Now he is going to be retired after completion. That means for every second year, one third of members will retire. One third of members will retire. Here, this is permanent house. This Rajya Sabha is also called permanent house. That cannot be dissolved. That cannot be dissolved. And in their place, when a member called X is retired, in his place new members are elected. If the members do not wish to continue, they may resign. This is all about term of office of Rajya Sabha. Next, sixth question. Who nominates 12 members for Rajya Sabha? Answer is very simple. Say loudly while watching video only. Say loudly. Yes, now I am listening. It's the President of India. The Honorable President of India has the power to nominate 12 members for Rajya Sabha. Which house is known as the House of Elders? Note down the question. That is seventh question. Seventh question. Okay, this now we discussed term of office of Rajya Sabha. Now let us see what are the qualifications necessary to become a member of Rajya Sabha. What qualification? What are the necessary qualifications required? Very simple. First point is should be citizen of India. What? Citizen of India. Yes. This is the first point. Yes. Whether he is Kannadiga, Tamilian, Malayali, that doesn't matter. But he must be a citizen of India. Non-resident Indians are not qualified for the seat of what? Rajya Sabha. The only India, he should be a citizen of India. One thing, should not be less than 30 years. It means a person who is going to contest or elect must have completed 30 years. 30 years. And should not have been punished by the court of law. It means should not have been punished under law. Should not be punished. Should not be punished under law. That means he should not be convicted in any criminal cases. He should not be convicted by any criminal and any atrocity cases. If he is convicted, he is not eligible to elect. He is not eligible to contest for Rajya Sabha membership. Then should not have been declared to be a person of unsound mind. Should not be unsound mind. Means he should not be retired, mentally retarded. Mentally retarded. He should be mentally sound. If the person is mentally unsound, how can he deal with the people? How can run a government of India? It is not possible. That is why he should not be unsound. Unsound. It means mentally should be mentally strong. This is the, and he should possess the qualifications specified from time to time by the Parliament. Some time to time Parliament will fix and suggest and prescribes necessary qualification for the contesting. These are all the necessary qualification required to become a member of Rajya Sabha. Once again, let us see and say loudly. First one is should be a citizen of India. First point. Second point, he should not be less than 30 years. He should be, see, he should not have, he should have completed 30 years. He should not have been declared to be a person of unsound mind. He should not be, that means he should not be convicted in any criminal cases. Then should possess the qualification specified from time to time by the Parliament. These are all the necessary qualification. See, Rajya Sabha. Here, who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha? See, and Vice President is the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Who? Vice President. Vice President. Who is the present Vice President? Venkaiah Naidu. Who is the Vice President? He is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Then Vice Chairman. The Vice Chairman is chosen from among the members. At least 10% of the members should be present during the sessions of the Rajya Sabha. At least 10%. See, during the session, the house should meet at least twice in a year. This Rajya Sabha house should meet at a parliament twice in a year, at least. But there should be present during the session. See, at least 10% of the members should be present during the session. This is all about the Rajya Sabha.